This is Expat Andy, host and producer of the London travel podcast Publicity, your London travel toolkit. If you've just stumbled upon this episode, you are listening to one of our summer short series that will air weekly while our regular show is on summer break. At time of recording, this is June 24th, 2026. And if you're currently traveling in London, then welcome to the very hot triple-digit Great British Summer of 2026. Please, everyone, drink plenty of water. And since I'm nagging you like your mom, wear Skechers shoes. They are very comfortable walking shoes. Don't be embarrassed. Carry an umbrella to shade you from the sun. And since many public buildings in the UK these days have air conditioning, pop into a shop, a restaurant, a hotel, or a pub and cool down and wear really good sunblock. Since you are listening to our summer short series, just wanted to remind you, Publicity, your London travel toolkit, is a London travel podcast that helps you plan your London trip by teaching you how the city actually feels, not just a list of things to tick off. Instead of just numbering attractions, we build narrative walks through neighborhoods, often anchored by pubs, streets, and local history, so you can understand context, atmosphere, and how places connect across a very large, diverse city. What makes the show different from most London travel content is that it doesn't behave like a checklist or ranking system. Typical travel guides will push you towards must-sees, which can lead to overcrowded itineraries and a shallow sense of the city. Our show focuses on storytelling and geography, helping you think in terms of areas and experiences rather than isolated sites. There's no substitute for qualified local on-the-ground knowledge. We recommend that you do what we do when we're in London. We always hire a knowledgeable local London tour guide and take advantage of the many curated walks that they offer. So think of our show as a conduit between you and the local London tour guides. Following and listening to our show helps you plan your trip and maximize your available time, not only in London, but also with the tour guide that you've hired. Listening to the show can help you better prepare questions that can focus your London tour guide on your specific needs. We help our listeners combat decision overload and fragmented travel planning. If you're trying to figure out where to go, what to group together in a day, or which neighborhoods are actually worth your time, we give you a mental map of London that makes those choices easier. In short, we help you stop planning around individual tourist spots and start planning around how London actually works as a lived-in city so your itinerary feels more coherent and less rushed. Our aim is to solve the single most important problem that we all face when we're traveling. We do not want to return home with travel FOMO, fear of missing out. We all know this feeling. You get home, you're faced with a pile of dirty laundry, you check your phone, and boom, right there on Instagram, a top 10 list of things that you missed. You were right there. You walked down that street. You didn't see any of it. You didn't understand the context. And now you have to start saving so you can go back and see all the things that you missed on the first trip. Listen to Publicity while you're planning your travel and avoid travel FOMO completely. This is Expat Andy, broadcasting from Miami in the Sunshine State, your host for Publicity, your London travel toolkit, our summer shorts, day trips from London, and Love Letter to London Pubs series. Enjoy this episode. There is a hill in northwest London that people have considered sacred for over 1,200 years. Before the church, before the school, before the pub at the foot of the lane, there was a pagan shrine. The Anglo-Saxons called the hill the heathen temple of the Gumaningas. St. Mary's Church was consecrated at the summit in 1094. Then Elizabeth I chartered a school here. Byron came and carved his name in the paneling. Churchill came back during the Blitz and sang. Nehru read about revolution in the library and took the idea home to India. And at the foot of the hill, in 1901, someone built that pub. It still has its original bar, partition, and fireplaces. I'm Expat Andy. This is Love Letter to London Pubs. Harrow first appeared in the written record in a charter of the year 767 AD as Gumaninga Erge, translated as heathen shrine or temple of the Gumaningas. Harrow derives from the Old English herg, meaning heathen shrine or altar. In the Domesday Book of 1086, it is herges, an estate assessed at 100 hides, held by the Archbishop of Canterbury. The early church put St. Mary's at the summit of the hill at the site of the earlier pagan shrine. It was consecrated on 4th of January 1094 by St. Anselm, the Archbishop of Canterbury. Looking south across London from the churchyard of St. Mary's today, on a clear day, you can see as far as the North Downs. In 1572, a local farmer named John Lyon obtained a royal charter from Elizabeth I to found a school on the hill, free for local boys, with fees for boarders from further afield. Lyon's endowment came with a condition. He had to maintain 2 roads to London, the Harrow Road and the Edgware Road. Lyon died in 1592. Both roads, we still have them. Thank you, Mr. Lyon. Harrow School is red brick with rough cast upper floors and machine tile roofs. Buildings at the School of English Heritage highest graded 2-star listed status. There's the speech room designed by William Burgess in 1877. The Vaughan Library designed by Sir George Gilbert Scott in 1863. The Harrow School Chapel designed by Sir George Gilbert Scott, 1854 to 1857. And the War Memorial Building, Neo-Jacobean building designed by Sir Herbert Baker, 1926. And the winner is... Just kidding. 27 buildings at Harrow School have Grade 2 listed status, many of them designed by architect and former Harrow School pupil Edward Schroeder Pryor. Notable examples are the Headmaster's House, built in 1843, designed by Decimus Burton. The Grove, a prominent mid-18th century boarding house. The Art School, designed by Edward Pryor in 1890. The Butler Museum, built in 1886 by Basil Champneys. And the Music School, built in 1890 by Edward Pryor. Harrow School has produced 7 British Prime Ministers: Aberdeen, Spencer Perceval, Goderich, Robert Peel, Palmerston, Stanley Baldwin, and Winston Churchill. The first Prime Minister of independent India, Jawaharlal Nehru, and King Hussein of Jordan. The inventor of photography, Fox Talbot. The archaeologist, Arthur Evans, who excavated Knossos and discovered the Minoan civilization. The playwright, Richard Sheridan. Novelist, Anthony Trollope, who was bullied there and excluded from every game. Richard Curtis, Benedict Cumberbatch, and James Blunt. The sport of squash was invented at Harrow around 1830, grown out of the game of rackets. The Eton versus Harrow cricket match at Lord's has run since 1805, the longest running fixture at Lord's and the oldest fixture at the ground. In the 4th form room, the school's original classroom, completed in 1615, carved into the panelled walls, are the name of Byron, Churchill, Peel, and Sheridan. George Gordon Byron arrived at Harrow in 1801, aged 13. In 1805, when popular headmaster Joseph Drury retired, governors appointed a successor that the boys despised. Byron, aged 17, is said to have led a plot to blow up the new headmaster's house with gunpowder. What stopped it was not conscience, but the fear that the explosion would destroy the carved names in the panelling. Byron kept returning to the churchyard of St. Mary's to lie under an elm tree and think. In September 1807, he wrote a poem there. Lines written beneath an elm in the churchyard of Harrow-on-the-Hill. It's about mortality and belonging and the wish to be buried here. Here might I sleep, where all my hopes arose, scene of my youth and couch of my repose, forever stretched beneath this mantling shade, pressed by the turf where once my childhood played. Two of the most consequential political figures of the 20th century sat in the same classrooms on this hill. Nehru came in the early 1900s. He read Trevelyan's books on Garibaldi in the library and found in the Italian revolutionary hero a model, a man who had liberated a nation from foreign rule. Nehru's biographers note that Harrow materially shaped the political ideas that Nehru took back to India. Churchill attended from 1888 to 1893. He was a poor student, miserable at school, and with little interest in the classical curriculum. His exam results enraged his father. In October 1940, as Prime Minister, in the middle of the Blitz, Churchill returned to attend the school's songs concert in the speech room. His private secretary, Jock Colville, reported hearing him singing Harrow songs in the bath. He came back every year of the war. The boys wrote a special verse for him. It was at the 1941 visit that he delivered one of his most famous lines to the assembled boys. Never give in. Never give in. Never, 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 never. In nothing, great or small, large or petty, never give in. Churchill's Songs is still celebrated annually at the school, with members of the Churchill family in attendance. Before the railway, Harrow was a rural village with an ancient hill and a famous school. After the Metropolitan Railway reached Harrow on 2nd of August 1880, Harrow was a suburb in the making. From 1915, the Metropolitan Railway marketed suburbs on the new line as Metroland, houses with gardens, clean air, and a 25-minute commute to Baker Street. The station opened as plain Harrow in 1880 and renamed Harrow-on-the-Hill in 1894. John Betjeman captured the transformation of rural to suburbs in his 1973 BBC documentary Metroland. Melancholy and beautiful, and exactly right. The Castle Pub at 30 West Street, Harrow, HA1 3EF, was built in 1901, a pub for a community the railway was in the process of creating. This same year, Queen Victoria died, and King Edward VII was crowned on West Street at the foot of the hill, not far from the school. The castle is Grade 2 listed, and CAMRA rates it 3-star for its interior of outstanding national historic importance, the highest rating that CAMRA awards. The interior has barely changed since opening day. Between the front and rear rooms, a glazed partition almost reaches the ceiling. A rare survival with a 3-foot-high service hatch cut through it so that staff could pass between rooms without using the main doors. The rear room retains its original curved bar counter and bar back shelves, beveled mirror panels, and a door still marked with the figure 5. The former billiard room at the back has its original wood block flooring. There are 3 real fireplaces still operating. The castle is at 30 West Street, Harrow-on-the-Hill, HA1 3EF. Nearest tube is Harrow-on-the-Hill on the Metropolitan line, Zone 5, about 25 minutes from Baker Street. The pub is a 10-minute walk from the station, and of course, it's uphill. It's a Fuller's pub serving real ale, ESB on permanent rotation. Food daily. CAMRA Harrow Pub of the Year in 2017, 2019, 2022, and 2025. The hill above it was a heathen shrine before England existed. The school on the hill carved the names of its most famous sons into a wall in 1615, and they're still there. Byron lay under an elm and wished to be buried at the top. Churchill came back to sing in the darkest year of the century. At the foot of it all, with its glazed partition, fireplaces, and original bar, is a pub built the year Queen Victoria died. If you live, work, or travel in London, or if you own, manage, or work in a London pub, if you work as a London tour guide or at a London attraction, and you'd like to be a guest contributor to our main podcast, Publicity, Your London Travel Toolkit, email me expatandy@publicitythepodcast.com. Love our content? Love London and its pubs? The best thing you can do is share the love. Literally, share this episode with your network. Your share is the butterfly ripple effect across the globe for a small business in London.